What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I was in New York last week, and I gotta tell you, it's not easy getting back into a routine after that. Anyway, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notifications when we drop these babies on an almost daily basis. From what I can see so far, it looks like we're more of a stocks crowd in here, so I'm going to go through the stocks first. Basically, since I've gone so long without doing a video, I will make a more concerted effort to, at the very least, bang out some shorts while I'm gone next time. I'm going to run through stocks first, and then I may just do a separate video running through all the cryptos. So Pfizer, mainly I look at the higher time frames on here, but there's something to pay attention to here on Pfizer. It never confirmed above this, and it gapped back down. It came up and did fill this gap, so we can delete that now. And now it appears to be beginning to head down towards this slopey boy here. And if we had to distill this Pfizer chart down to the one trend line that really matters, if you're trying to watch one level, if you care and are trying to get in and out of it, which I personally am not, I'm only DCAing into this because it's a good dividend stock, this is the level right here, 26.43. So let's look on the weekly. And why is that the level? Because it is the oldest. It goes back the furthest. And honestly, if I went to go, it goes all the way back to here, and honestly, it goes all the way back to here. It'd be like a range above this, but I think at one point I had a range in, and I had to decide between the two lines which one I would give more credence to, and I chose this one. So Pfizer, I'm still bullish just because it's been so damn beaten down. It's a dividend stock. Capital should be rotating into it at some point, and if we look at this, lately, there appears to be a lot more. The lighter volume bars signify buying. The darker volume bars signify selling. So there's more light than dark, which means there's more buying than selling. And that's a very important. Volume is one of the most important indicators you can look at when you're trading. Last Friday after close, went into Team. Let's look at the daily here. Now, Team is showing, I got this fancy indicator here called the Jewel from MetaSignals. And the Jewel is pretty much telling me that this is a perfect buy setup. So you can't really see it on the weekly yet, but you've got your green God signal here where it flashes green and tells you this could be a good buying opportunity. But on the daily, you'll notice that green signal's way back here. And in MetaSignals, what they explain to be a picture-perfect buying setup is when this blue line comes, it goes up and then back down, but uses the pink and yellow lines for support and doesn't actually cross. So it has used these pink and yellow lines for support. It's gone up. It's touched them again as support, and this should signify continuation to the upside. So I'm not going to put too much credence in today's topping tail just yet. By the way, it's 4:45 p.m. here, but I am into Team. I have a pretty big position in Team in my personal smaller portfolio. Next, ENPH. So ENPH is showing some signs of life here on the daily. There has been so much, look at all this selling pressure here, all these days, and then finally you got a sign of life, a buy signal, right? So if I go to reset this view, you see it came back down, and honestly, this line is super arbitrary. I drew this based on the 786. And so you'll see there's your 786 level right there. And ENPH basically came back down and kind of put in a bottom and consolidated right there. Now what we've got here is a bullish reversal candle. And you have what isn't necessarily a topping tail, because for it to be a topping tail, it has to be the highest point. And there's been lots of higher price action very recently. So this is not an actual topping tail. Also, there is less volume on this selling candle than there is on this buying candle. So ENPH isn't looking perfect or spectacular by any stretch of the imagination, but it's showing us more of what we want to see than what we don't want to see. Next up is Lineage. So I know someone personally who works, a family member actually, who works for Lineage. I bring up their stock, probably almost every time we talk. And I noticed last time I talked to this person that their stock, I think, was here. It had just put in a big old red candle. And I thought, wow, there's a low and there's close to a double bottom. And I said, you know what? I looked at the dividend, and the dividend online is, this is a really interesting business model, actually. So they do frozen food, and they're in frozen food logistics, but kind of like McDonald's business model, if you watch the founder, was owning the land. Lineage Logistics' business model is a REIT. And for anyone who doesn't know, REIT, R-E-I-T, means Real Estate Investment Trust. So this is a real estate business that transports frozen food. They have a net zero initiative of having no carbon footprint by, I think, 2040, which in my mind is good because in my line of work, which is commercial solar, I'm very familiar with how installing solar on large buildings with large electricity usage makes a huge difference in profitability. It's like a medium-sized rudder on a large ship. So, I mean, it can take a few years to turn around, but you're basically not paying an electricity bill that's going up every year. What you are paying for is control, independence. You're flattening your energy costs, and you have an asset that's part of your business and works for you. It essentially prints money. It could be tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars a year, depending on how big your business is, how much electricity you use, etc. So, Line, I like their business model. They've got essentially three major revenue streams when you take the real estate aspect, the frozen food aspect, and the solar aspect into consideration. Oh my God, Brighton just went up 3-0. What a bloodbath. Chelsea just looks horrible. For any PL people out there. This is another one I don't care in the near term, whether it goes up or down. I'm just going to start dollar cost averaging into this bad boy because it's a great business model. It's a great stock, and I essentially think it's got nowhere to go but up in the long term. It's one of those where I just don't care. I'm in it for the long haul. PayPal. I ended up getting out of this one after it came up and tagged this gap fill, just because that was my plan. I'm not going to say it can't go up further, but it is nice that it put in about a month and a half's worth of consolidation here. So if it wants to go up and fill this other gap, I wouldn't be surprised. Right now, I would say it could come back down and test these range highs and then move on. And I'll tell you what, if it does come back down and start to tag this consolidation range, I may be looking to go long. All this stuff, it really matters how it looks when it gets there, how quickly it gets there, how strong it looks, how weak it looks. It's just like if when I would have bought down here, PayPal would have just gone straight up and tagged this gap fill, I probably would have been like, you know what, I'm out of the PayPal business for a while. But because it consolidated for so long and then went up, I'm thinking, okay, there's structure here. So you're looking for a much shallower pullback and then continuation to the upside. But again, keeping an eye on this. So here's one, for the sake of keeping this video short, I'm going to go into Circle. Circle is putting in another bearish reversal candle here. This chart looks like it needs to go down in the near term. I'm not sure if anything's going to happen on this Clarity Act anytime soon. Even if it does, guys, this stuff is always a sell the news event. You filled your gap, and actually, so when it came back down off this crazy run, and now it's coming back up, look where it ran out of steam. That old resistance level. It didn't happen as quickly as I would have wanted. I did have some puts that expired on April 17th. I may go put shopping again if this thing pretends like it's going to be bearish for a minute. But to me, this is bull flaggy because you had this gap right here, this gap get filled, and now you've just had a red candle because it came back up, and this was like kind of a bullish looking gap fill candle, and then this red one came back down the next day and just said no. So as you'll notice, and as I've said in the past, this is a significant gap fill, and the closer price gets, the more it acts like a magnet and pulls it in. I fully expect Circle to come back to 62.95. If that's it, and that's where it puts in a higher low, I'm a buyer of Circle down there, and I'll go in pretty heavy because long term, I really believe in this company. They're pretty much guaranteed to make money, the way the stablecoin market and everything's laid out. So for this video, I'll make that the last one. Team, it's showing these signals that look nice. We'll see where it goes. We'll see if it fills this gap or fills this gap and runs out of steam. All these other stocks, Pfizer, ENPH, Lineage, Circle, I would say long term, I don't think PayPal is going anywhere either. So I could say Pfizer, ENPH, Lineage, PayPal, Circle. These are long term, and I would basically dollar cost average into these indiscriminately, regardless of what happens in the near term. Because I know 10 years from now, with all these stocks, they will be up. Like when the World Cup comes around, if you see Belgium versus Canada or something, and you're like, you just bet on Belgium and you say, you know what, if Canada wins, I'll just take this one on the chin. If Pfizer, ENPH, Lineage, PayPal, or Circle are like bankrupt in 10 years or something, then I'm just wrong. You know, with AI doing what it's doing, obviously we have to reevaluate that every year. But I don't see situations where these business models are rendered obsolete. Maybe PayPal. I could see PayPal being replaced with a decentralized payment protocol. But the rest of these, feel good about them. Guys, this video has been way longer than I thought. I was going to rapid fire these, but you know how I like to dwell on stuff. So if you got value out of this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that bell so you get notifications. We drop these babies on an almost daily basis. Thanks for watching Powers Capital, and we got another video you might like right up there.